I really don't want to enter the topic of flat Earth, but I see variations of this diagram, and comments like this so much, I decided that this particular claim needs to be called out. So here is a representation of the Sun and planet Earth. And no, it is not to scale, either in size or in distance. And we'll add a marker, right here. And we'll say that this marker represents 12 o'clock midday, with the Sun directly overhead. Now, we know that the planet revolves once every 24 hours. And flat earthers, please stay with me, and hear me out. We also know that we orbit the Sun every 12 months. Now, the argument is, if we say that at this point, we're at midday on the 21st of December, and note that our marker is covered in daylight, then if we skip forward exactly 6 months, when Earth is on the opposite side of the Sun, to midday on the 21st of June, then you may notice, we're suddenly facing out into space, our marker is covered in darkness. In other words, it would be the middle of night, at 12 midday. Now just stop and have a look at this for a moment.
Oh my god, it would be pitch black. This proves that we are not orbiting the Sun. The bastards, they've been lying to us all along. The Earth really is flat.
Right, well not so fast. There is something extremely dishonest about this diagram. Can you see what it is?
Nope.
Well, this diagram would be correct if the Earth's path was straight through the Sun. Let's see that again from above. But watch what happens when we move the planet through its actual path, around the Sun. You see that? And again, from above. And no, it has nothing to do with how many times I spin the planet. That's just for animation, and to show you how it lines up. It would make no difference if I spin it 1,000 times. The result would still be the same, either through, or around the Sun, but this video would take me weeks to complete. You can see when I move the planet without spinning it, and therefore allowing it to remain at 12 o'clock, that it is always pointing inwards to the Sun, no matter where it is in its orbital path. The simple explanation is, if we took a path straight through the Sun, then we'd be traveling in a straight line, always facing forward, and our marker would always fall to the same position after each rotation. However, when we travel around the Sun, and in an arc, or semicircle, then we have to take this degree of rotation, which will always be 180 degrees, into our calculation. Think about it. You could not take this path, and still be facing in the same direction, without manually turning. Following an arc, or semicircle, no matter how deep or shallow, will always rotate you 180 degrees. But that doesn't explain the dishonesty in our original diagram. This car is traveling east. Notice how it moves from left to right. Now, the same car again, traveling in the same direction, but shown from the other side of the road. And notice how this time, it's moving right to left. How is this relevant? Well, if we wanted to see the same car, from two totally different sides, we would have to either use two cameras, or do what we did. Move the camera. There is a third option. Leave the camera where it is, but spin the car around. The dishonesty in the original diagram is exactly this. We've moved planet Earth from one side of the Sun to the other, so we should be looking at the opposite side of the planet. And just like our car, it should be pointing in the opposite direction. But this is something they decided to ignore in the original diagram, for one of two reasons, which I'll discuss later. When we move the Earth from one side of the Sun to the other, it only appears to be facing in the other direction, because we're now viewing it from the other side. But if we also move our camera by exactly the same amount, 180 degrees to the other side of the sun, then you'll notice, we have exactly the same image as we did when the Earth was at midday in December, on the opposite side of the sun. It doesn't matter where we put the Earth in correlation to the sun, as long as we also move our viewing point by the same amount, then the result is always the same. It doesn't matter how many times we spin the Earth, or at what speed we spin it, as long as each revolution is always 360 degrees, then midday will always point to the sun. In a nutshell, it is not the Earth that changes its direction from one side of the sun to the other, it is the relation between the Earth and our viewing point that changes. I expect a ton of downvotes for this video, and demeaning comments such as how I must be stupid if I think we live on a spinning ball, because videos such as this attract mostly the flat earther, claiming to be, doing their research. But I doubt many of them will get this far in the video because their logic is, we don't orbit the sun, because the Earth is flat. So they'll downvote my video, call me an idiot, and be on their way. But there will also be people that don't believe the hoax, but have had their head turned, and will be confused by certain claims, such as that in the original diagram, and those are the people I aim this video toward. Because I'm not trying to convince the flat earther he is wrong, I've tried that, and it's a lost cause. But because they use claims such as the one I've covered, as proof that an orbit cannot work, so I have to call them out on that. And as I said earlier, they got the positioning of the orbiting planet wrong, for one of two reasons. Either they have a shallow comprehension of physics, and that includes everyday objects that currently surround them, or they're deliberately trying to deceive you. If you focus on only that which sits in front of you, if you turn your back to other possibilities, then you become part of the illusion. Once you start to believe in the illusion, then everything else becomes a lie. If you see only that which fits your narrative, then you become part of the lie. If the truth isn't staring you in the face, then maybe it's laughing behind your back. If you doubt the word of millions of people that have devoted their life to study, over that of a few internet hoaxers that don't even understand basic concentrics, then the world really is fucked. Thanks for watching.
Flat.